A major development in the Southside explosion. Authorities have filed criminal charges against 3 people for that blast. The homeowner whose house exploded, Montserrat Shirley, her boyfriend Mark Leonard, and Leonard's brother Robert. They are accused of causing the explosion in a case of insurance fraud, an explosion that killed 2 people.
They did tell investigators early on that they had gone gambling that evening to a place down in Lawrenceburg, I believe. And there is surveillance video of them at the casino in Lawrenceburg, and my sources tell me that they were there for a number of hours and that they even lost a significant amount of money.
I want to also mention that we did talk to Montserrat Shirley and Mark Leonard just a few days after that explosion in the Richmond Hill subdivision, and this is what they told us.
When they find out what happened, what do you think they should do? What do you think should happen to the person if something is...
They have to pay for what it did to me and everybody else. I don't know what happened. But if did something happen, that person has to pay for what they did.
We're dealing with a lot of, people investigating and things like that, so why don't they just leave us alone so we have the time to try to get some sleep.
You say they've denied their guilt at this time. Did you get the sense early on that investigators, Mr. Cable, were zeroing in on your clients in this, what they deemed a criminal case?
I think from early on, from everything that they've leaked to the media, that they wanted it or wished it could be my clients.
This morning, the big question is, why did this happen? What really instigated this situation? And my sources tell me it was all about money. The Caustic's investigators uncovered details pointing to significant financial problems Shirley faces. She filed for bankruptcy in 2007 with her then husband. But that case was dismissed in June of this year because they failed to make the required payments. Court documents show her home had 2 mortgages, one for more than $160,000 and a second for nearly $65,000. The Caustic's investigators also dug through real estate records to find Shirley was looking to unload the home. The 9-year-old house with 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths was up for a short sale. My sources also now telling me that really going further on this financial issue, it went far beyond just the home. My sources telling me that Montserrat Shirley and her boyfriend Mark Leonard also took out some extra insurance policies on belongings.
This is a defining day for the folks whose lives changed forever out here at Richmond Hill. The day that murder charges are announced and arrests are made for causing all of this havoc. This is the scene out here this morning just beyond this house that's blown apart. You've got demolition crews working to take one of the homes down. To our Derek Thomas, who is at Prosecutor Terry Curry's office. And Derek, what's the situation there right now?
Chris, we are anxiously awaiting the arrival of the prosecutor to talk about these charges. I'm standing in front of 6 cameras here as we all wait. There are about 13 members of the media. We are told that there will be representatives from 7 different agencies, the ATF.
And the Caustic's investigators, we have been combing through records upon records, looking at his past, and this is what the Caustic investigators were able to find out.
We just need to be left alone,
That was Mark Ray Leonard days after the explosion at the Richmond Hill subdivision. The blast killed a 2nd-grade Greenwood teacher and her husband. Leonard, who's at the center of the investigation, is no stranger to law enforcement in a number of Indiana counties. Court documents show he is set to go on trial in Johnson County for driving while suspended for unpaid tickets. He's scheduled for another trial on January the 4th in the same county, accused of not repaying a loan for $3,300. In 2010, in northern Indiana, bad driving got him in trouble in Kosciuszko County, including 2 tickets and fines. In 1999, a traffic stop led to his arrest for having 30 grams of marijuana. He took a deal from the Johnson County prosecutor. In 1998, he agreed to a guilty plea involving possession of marijuana in Bedford in Lawrence County. That same year, he took another deal, this time in Hancock County. Authorities there accused him of disorderly conduct, resisting law enforcement, and residential entry.
and one of those residents who just pulled into the subdivision today as charges are being announced. They've made 3 arrests this morning. Your life changed that day. It's been changed ever since. I'm just wondering what you're feeling now.
Sense of relief. Been waiting for this for weeks now. Kind of confirms what we really thought all along, honestly. It's still sad that lives were lost for senseless reasons, but definitely feel better about it than I did yesterday, that's for sure.
Bob Leonard stated to his son that those were items had been salvaged from the fire at Mark Leonard and Monterey Shirley's house. That, of course, is impossible because everything in the house was destroyed, plus no one was allowed access to the property after the explosion.
Raphael, you talked before they even laid out these allegations, before we even heard from the prosecutor, about this microwave that became this sort of timer in that home that was filled with gas.
Yeah, we have a great team of investigators that have been poring over this case for the last 41 days. And just take a look at my reporter's notebook. Usually I would have this on my piece of paper, but because of the breaking news element, I was just writing down things as quickly as possible. The suspect, all 3, Montserrat Shirley, her boyfriend Mark Ray Leonard, and Robert Leonard, his brother, are facing these charges: 2 counts of felony murder, conspiracy to commit arson, arson class A and arson class B. Each suspect facing 48 criminal charges will now have to play out in a criminal court, possibly here in Marion County. They could also be possibly facing a death penalty charge, but as we heard, we will not hear about that discussion at least for another 30 days. But the Caustic investigators have been looking at this case, and this is what we found out, and we knew about it as early as 10 this morning. The deadly explosion at the Richmond Hill subdivision was no accident. Metro Police and federal agents arrested 3 people in connection to the criminal homicide. Among those behind bars, Montserrat Shirley and her boyfriend Mark Ray Leonard and his brother Robert Leonard. This is what Montserrat and her partner Mark told RTV6 days after the blast.
People talking to me and asking me questions. I mean, I told everyone the truth.
We just need to be left alone.
I don't know what happened.
The Call 6 investigators have learned that the 3 people behind bars were involved in a financial scheme, that Montserrat and Mark took out extra insurance on some of their belongings before the blast, that Robert Leonard was one of 2 men seen in a white van the night dozens of lives were changed forever in that Southside neighborhood, that the second man seen in that van has not been identified. As for the explosion, the Call 6 investigators have learned that a gas line to the fireplace was tampered with inside the home, and that the blast heard and felt 3 miles away was triggered by a microwave set to turn on at a specific time. Sources tell us the suspects did not intend to kill next-door neighbors Dion and Jennifer Longworth, or cause so much damage and destruction. And the pain truly runs deep in that neighborhood as we continue to look at my reporter's notebook, The People. And we're talking about people today who, as we've heard throughout this morning, are sensing a sense of relief and justice. 2 people killed there in the Richmond Hill subdivision, John Dion, and of course Jennifer Longworth, the couple, the young couple. She was a 2nd grade teacher. In fact, today her 2nd grade class will be getting some of the hats and scarves that the other teachers crocheted and knitted together because they were lost in the home. A very emotional day for those young people and teachers at Southwest Elementary School in Greenwood. 12 people injured that evening. It happened in the middle of the night. People were sleeping. People were leaving their homes in their pajamas, fleeing from fire, fleeing from the flames and the smoke because of the explosion that happened that evening. So 12 people injured, and then the damage. And though today we're not talking about money, $4 million in damages to all the homes, at least 30 homes will have to be torn down.
For 6 weeks, they've wondered what went wrong. Tonight, they have answers.
We filed charges against Mark Leonard, Monterey Shirley, and Bob Leonard.
On November 10th, for at least 6 hours, as kids played and dinners were made, a bomb was building in their neighbor's home. Then, just as people were laying down to sleep,
The microwave oven in the house had exploded from the inside out.
The gas ignited. The force of the explosion levels 2 homes and tears into dozens more. 2 people are dead, 12 more injured.
It's going to be rough, yes. It's going to be rough, knowing that the people that are displaced in their homes, and it's going to be scary for a while.
Now, a promise from the prosecutor
To see that justice is done.
to make sure those responsible pay for it.